And welcome to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. We speak to your life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon-to-be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. And if you've not yet done so, please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and to the podcast. So I'm going to throw out a question to you. Why is it that doctors stink with money? It's like a known thing, right? The doctors and money don't mix. Sort of like oil and water. They just don't mix, right? In the infamous words of Orange Juice Jones, you without me is like the cornflakes without the milk. There you go. Brilliant literary gem. Why is it that doctors stink when it comes to money? So I have a few potential reasons, and then we're going to speak about what they can do. So why am I even thinking about this? I got a call, I think it was last week, from an old friend in the US who was a doctor, a successful doctor, successful professionally, less so financially. And we went through everything and we were just talking, like shooting the breeze also, like, where he felt that he had gone wrong over the years. And then, we spoke about things we can still do. He wasn't when he was, 100 years old. He was in his late 40s. So there's plenty of time for him to correct his ways, to fix things financially. But he'd come up with a few reasons as well. So I'd like to share, and then we can speak about what you can all do, really, in order to get yourself on better financial footing. So I think when he mentioned that the first reason is that they're used to living in debt. They're not used to being so financially responsible, right? Because in order to go to most medical schools, right, you're just like more student loans and more student loans, right? They could owe, hundreds of thousands, if not up to like $500,000, if you're going to dental school or whatever you're going to, right, medical school. You're just used to being in debt. You're borrowing money up the wazoo because you know that later on in life, you're going to be making a lot of money, and that's when hopefully you're going to pay it back. But in the interim, right, you just don't think, right? You're so overwhelming, right? If you owe $300,000 in debt, right? So who cares if I, take out a credit card and I owe another $5,000 to Visa, right? It doesn't make much of a difference in the bigger scope of things. So they're sort of not necessarily used. Of course, I'm painting a very broad stroke. There are certainly doctors out there who are great with money. So I'm not talking about, I'm just talking about the stereotype. So if you're used to being in debt and not being so responsible with your money, it's hard to turn off that switch. And then sort of another reason which sort of goes into that is that, well, you know what, in 15 years from now, when I'm done with medical school, I'm done with my fellowship, and I'm done with my residency, and I'm going to private practice or whatever it is, I'm gonna be making so much money, I'll deal with it then. But the problem is a lot of these habits, right, are formed and they continue on, even when you have a lot of money, when you've got a big shovel, in the words of Dave Ramsey, right, to help you get yourself out of the problem that you're in, and you have a huge income, you're used to sort of borrowing money, not living within a budget. So that can have really bad ramifications. Another reason that my friend gave was that he's just so busy, right? From the time that he was in medical school and then through his internship and his residency, he's working, 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week. He just didn't have time to really sit down with a pen and paper and work everything out. That was a big one that he seemed to mention, because he said, even now, where I'm making a lot of money, but I'm super busy. And then I happened to be looking online and whatever. I found another reason, right? That doctors don't seem to have lots of financial training. They've got huge amounts of scientific training. They've got a lot of, they know anatomy. They know all other things that have to do with the human body. But they're studying, but they don't really have like personal finance 101. That's not in the coursework, right? Anatomy 101 might be, but we don't speak about the wallet. We don't speak of the bank account. We don't speak about, what you're supposed to do. So those are some reasons I think that doctors seem to not be so great at money. They also, I think, one more I'll say, is they get taken advantage of, right? Because everybody sort of knows the situation. This I saw from the White Coat Investor. I'm going to read, right? He says, he gives a reason: targeted by the financial services industry. To make matters worse, the helpers in the world actually target doctors to sell them financial products. Those are often not even the financial products they need. They're usually the ones that pay the highest commissions. Nearly every doctor is targeted at some point by a salesperson from an insurance company wanting to sell them a high commission, low returning whole life insurance policy, even though they have 6 figures of 7% student loan debt. Or perhaps it's an annuity salesperson or a loaded mutual fund salesperson masquerading as a financial advisor, right? Or even an attorney using fear of malpractice lawsuits to pawn complex trusts that may not even work in the extreme rare chance that they might be needed. There are a lot of people looking at doctors, right? Because of the reasons that we mentioned, that sort of lends itself then to all the sharks out there peddling their high commission wares to unsuspecting potential clients. So what should a doctor do? Well, a doctor, no matter how busy they are, they should take the time, right? It doesn't take so much time to put your financial issues in order, okay? You can do it in an hour, really. Believe me, you can do it in an hour. You can find an hour, some time where you're not working, where you can sit down with a pen and paper, figure out, what do I owe in debt? What's my income? What are my expenses? How can I now start getting myself into a situation where I'm paying off my debt in an accelerated fashion, okay? And then I can start putting money away. And then if you do that, right, if you follow the process, trust the process, as I like to say, you're going to be way, way, way ahead of the game, right? Because you're making a boatload of money, right? So all your other doctor friends who you might meet up for golf or, wherever at the country club with their fancy cars or whatever, they're still hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. They're not really living in financial reality. Whereas, if you have some discipline in a few years, because of the super high salary that you're making, in a few years, you can get yourself on super solid financial footing. You can be positive every single month, no more debt, be debt-free. You can put money away, and then you can totally be on the way to financial security. So what do? Well, number one, obviously, what's tip number one always is get yourself out of debt, right? List all your debts and start attacking them. Attack them, right? Remember when you were in medical school and you were just like eating nothing, you were eating Doritos? Keep on eating the Doritos for another year or two and you'll get yourself out of debt, okay? Then you want to start making a budget, or in tandem, right? With that, you want to make a budget, allocating as much as you can, obviously, to the debt. And then when you're done, you want to start putting money away. You want to start saving, right? You've got to, you want to create an emergency fund and you want to save. You do that, you're going to be on great financial footing, and then you'll beat the odds, right? You won't be the stereotypical doctor, okay? You don't want to be the stereotypical doctor, because they tend to be ultimately broke, right? They've got tons of debt, and they're living the good life. Once they're older, they're driving the fancy car, they've got that country club membership, but they don't have a lot of money stashed away in the bank. If you play your cards right, you can also have the country club membership and drive the nice car, but you can be on super solid financial footing, commensurate with somebody who's making the type of money that you all are doing. Okay, so I'm not coming down hard against doctors. I love doctors. Doctors are great. I have doctors in our family. They're great. But oftentimes there's a reason for stereotypes. And in this case, we know, right, from my friend who called me from America, just, go online and search, right? It's sort of a known thing that doctors are notorious for being bad at money. So you know what? Get good at money. You can be the doctor who is notorious for being great with money. It's an easy process. If you got any questions how to do it, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to speak to you, okay? You've been tuning into the Aaron Katzman Show. We speak about your life, your money, and your investments. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. And if you've not yet done so, please subscribe to both our YouTube channel and to the podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you soon.